All right, so we talked on the last episodes. We talk about March Madness. Last on that last episode, we also talked the NBA anti-tanking the NBA. AJ Brown's future with Philadelphia, and Bears moving to Indiana. There's other previous episodes. Then Major League Baseball returned on the 20th of February. We talked about that as well. And all that stuff. And CB3's retirement and first half NBA report cards. And also that it's been 1 week since Jesse Jackson passed away. Let's see what's coming up on JDB's morning cap. I would say good morning. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Today is February 23rd, 2026. This is officially last week of month of February because February 28th will be the Saturday. March 1st, the month will start over. March 1st will be on the Sunday because there's no February 29th until 2028. So we're going to keep that in mind. We have 28 days in February for between this year and next year. So enough of the calendar days, but finally we get back to the regularly scheduled program after I had multiple 3-day weekends at the very least. So finally get back to the regular scheduled program for the next few weeks. Actually, for at least the next couple more months. So I'm sure that we are truly excited that March is approaching, the biggest month of all, one of the biggest months of the year. So we're so looking forward to that. All right, so let's start with the National Basketball Association. What went down last night in SoCal. The Lakers squared off the Celtics. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown and Payton Pritchard thrives in last night's game, and they combined 62 points between Pritchard and Brown. Now, Jaylen Brown went 32 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. Meanwhile, Payton Pritchard off the bench, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. And also the Celtics made 14 3-pointers, and they shot 48% from the field yesterday. And they end up winning over the Lakers 111-89. And the Celtics improved to 37-19 to earn a 2-game season series sweep against the Lakers. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic for the Lakers, he had 25 points. LeBron had 20. Reeves had 15, but all of them not enough. We'll get to that a little bit later. All right, so now, here's a question right now. How Brown and Pritchard had thrived these moments last night. Well, it's not just Brown and Pritchard. It's Derek White. It's been Hugo Gonzalez. They've been thriving either on the offensive side or the defensive side of the ball. But for the Brown and Pritchard, how they thrived these moments last night, Jaylen Brown actually did a good job facilitating. He had 7 assists. He had 32 points, and he had 8 rebounds. The only problem with that is he only went 10 for 28 shooting, and 5 turnovers committed, and also he committed 3 fouls. But he done other things that he was supposed to. But the only guy who stepped it up off the bench is Payton Pritchard. 30 points, 10 made field goals, 6 threes made, for 8 assists to his credit. I mean, Payton Pritchard has been everywhere. He's been thriving in these moments. We've seen like Vucevic, Kata. Kata had a good game yesterday. He had a couple of blocks, including on LeBron James. Derek White had 8 assists. He didn't shoot the ball great. 5 for 13 from the field. He only had 12 points. He did add 8 assists, a steal and a block to his credit. But the Celtics have thrived these moments against good teams. It's Jaylen Brown and Payton Pritchard. You're always going to thrive in wins like that. You're going to thrive all these moments. Those are moments you cannot take away from. And let me say this about it. Are there true NBA Finals contenders even they don't have Jason Tatum? Yeah, I would say this. It's still a question mark. If Tatum does come back, they should be contenders once again. If Tatum doesn't come back, initially I would not put them in any contenders. If the Celtics play the Pistons in an Eastern Conference Finals, I don't think it's not going to be an easy matchup, because Pistons have won 3 out of the 4 times in the regular season this year against the Celtics, so they have their numbers this year. But despite the confidence that the Celtics can keep their series intact, I think this series will be competitive. Just like a few years back, Celtics and Heat took 7 games over the last couple of years between 2022 and 23 ECF. But Jaylen Brown will come through in the playoffs. Jason Tatum even comes back. The minutes will be limited against him, and then hopefully he comes up strong in the playoffs. I think Jason Tatum will come up strong in the playoffs. That doesn't necessarily mean Jason Tatum will play great every game, but if Jason Tatum does come back, should he start him or bench him? They're still going to start him, because I think, or you could put Tatum off the bench for a while and then give him a starting opportunity in the final 3 weeks of the regular season. So Joe Mazzulla's got options. Should they put Tatum off the bench, or should they become a starter? So how's that going to work? It will be Brown, White, Kata, Tatum, and most likely Hauser. But there's no questions asked. I think Kata has solidified his role really well. He's done a very good job just putting it together. So once the playoffs come, someone has to come through with it. Someone else has to come through with it. That's the key. You have to come through for once in a while. And when you talk about the Celtics players have been through all these moments, that's been the key for this. Celtics still the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, next to the Knicks and all that kind of stuff. So I think the Celtics could hold on number 2 seed. The semifinals is in question. Facing the Knicks team, there's physical. All right, my next move, I want to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. Luka Doncic had 25 points. He went 9 for 22 from the field. Austin Reeves, 15 points, 4 for 10 from the field. LeBron James with 20 points, 9 for 21 from the field. All three players have shot 42% or worse yesterday. Reeves shot 40% from the field yesterday. LeBron 42. Luka with 41%. I mean, I think Lakers shooting around. Lakers shot 39% and they scored 89 points. They shot 30% from long range, 68% from charity stripe. They got out rebounded by 11, 50-39 in favor of the Celtics. They out assist 29-18 in favor of the Celtics. But there were some positives. They forced 14 Celtics turnovers, including 7 steals. And they also blocked 5 shots and 20 points off turnovers. So there were some good things yesterday. Well, mostly through the first 3 quarters. Lakers were in this game through the first 3 quarters. But in the fourth quarter, things ran out of gas. They fell apart. The Lakers fell apart in the fourth quarter. They only scored 18 total points. They're not knocking down shots. They're not getting timely stops. The inconsistency for the Lakers defense. In fact, Marcus Smart was shut out as far as points, field goals, 3-point field goals. He was shut out. He had no points. He went 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 5 from long range. Oh, by the way, he had a technical foul yesterday, along with J.J. Redick and Austin Reeves. Lakers surrendered 3 technical fouls. All have been arguing with the official. J.J. Redick was arguing that it should have been a goaltending. Even though Keita got his hand on the inside of the rim, the ball had not started to go in yet. He hadn't started the shot motion yet. If the ball was close to the rim and if Keita had put his hands on the net, it would have been goaltending. It would have been different. So the Lakers were expressed their frustrations last night. Speaking of frustration, what's next for the Los Angeles Lakers? After a 22-point loss to the Celtics. So this is the second. So the first matchup was December 5th. They lost by 21, 126-105 in Boston. The Celtics beat the Lakers on December 5th. So they lost combined 43 points in those two games. The Lakers have combined 43 total points in these two blowout losses against the Celtics. That's a minimum effort for the Lakers. For the Lakers, Lakers get minimum effort on the defensive side of the ball. I understand the Lakers are 34-22. You're still in the top 6 in the playoffs. You're in the number 5 seed. You will have to face the Rockets if the playoff would start today. If the playoff had started today, Lakers will have to face the Rockets. And it's going to be interesting because you have Durant, Şengün. The other night, Rockets blew a massive lead against the Knicks two nights ago in New York. And you got Minnesota hanging on their life. And Phoenix try to sneak up some wins if they want to. Denver. And then San Antonio. San Antonio is rolling as of late. San Antonio plays the Pistons tonight. This should be an exciting game to watch. And you got an Oklahoma City Thunder, the best record in the West. So those are good games that you really want to make. The Lakers, they got so much work to do. They're 1-1 since the break. They got the Magic tomorrow in LA, and then they're gonna head to Phoenix on Thursday, and then head to the Bay Area to play the Warriors on Saturday. Those are crucial games because Warriors had a big win yesterday against the Nuggets with no Curry, no Draymond, no Porzingis, no Butler, and no problem. So they're capable of winning without these guys. And then they're going to play Sacramento to start the month. So strength of schedule is going to be critical for the Lakers down the stretch. It's going to be critical down the stretch. The Lakers right now, this team just inability to, I won't say their inability to be good teams. They struggled to sustain effort. The Lakers have struggled to sustain effort because it feels like the Lakers defense are not trying their best enough. They're not better enough to go to the finals at all. All right, so we're going to move on from that. Coming up next, it's a done deal for the Cowboys running back. Also coming up, Thunder battles the Cavaliers in OKC. Does Joe Burrow got some explaining to do after another disappointing season for the Bengals? Then NFL offseason is heating up in a few weeks. Offseason is coming up. Free agency. Who gets the deal done? We'll find out. But before we go to break, we have really, really sad news to share. 2 days ago, we have announced Rondale Moore. He's a former Falcon. He's a Cardinal. He played for the Atlanta Falcons, Arizona Cardinals, Minnesota Vikings. He also went to Purdue University in Indiana. Rondale Moore has died. He suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound in his home. However, the investigation just got started a few days after his death. that Rondale Moore in his career, Rondale Moore, or in career stats, he went 135 receptions, 1,201 yards, and 3 career receiving touchdowns. But Rondale Moore will be missed. He was only 25 years old. And we send our condolences for those of you we lost a man. Rondale Moore is 25 years old. Will be missed. All right, welcome back. As the Cowboys trying to figure things out, they finished the season 7-9-1. But we did have decent news that it's a done deal. The Cowboys have re-signed JaVonte Williams a 3-year, $24 million contract. So that's the good news for the Cowboys. JaVonte Williams will be a Cowboy for 3 more years. So here's the question right now. Do you like this extension from Williams? Or should they have been walked from Williams? Actually, I like that extension from Williams because I think he deserved an opportunity to carry this team not just to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl in the next few years. And hopefully he'll get through all of this one. But JaVonte will be 26 on April 25th. JaVonte Williams will be 26 years old on April 25th. So that would be a withstand for the Cowboys. I mean, you think about that, Dak Prescott and JaVonte Williams. You felt like these guys can play. We know how capable is JaVonte Williams. I mean, maybe his career hopefully gets bounced around. He has. When I'm looking his numbers last year, he went 1,201 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. Probably his best season in his career. That was his career best. All career best. As far as rushing attempts, yards per carry, and touchdowns. So he also had 35 receptions and 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that's the scrimmage yards is in effect. He had 1,338 scrimmage yards, which is top 6 in the NFL. So you love to see JaVonte Williams. This offense, I told you this Cowboys offense is right on cue. I mean, that is a difference maker. You make a lot of JaVonte Williams will be a difference maker for the Dallas Cowboys. And expand your differences. The Cowboys don't have any best running backs for years now. And JaVonte Williams has been definitive for him this season that he's always accounting for it. So I think JaVonte Williams is going to be a huge fit for the next 3 years. And hopefully he comes through with that. But if you waste 2 other years, you might as well be out of your pockets. So, when you're looking for the Cowboys' schedule in 2026, and that's where you're looking for it. Look at the Cowboys' schedule in 2026. Cowboys were a second place schedule in 2025. Cowboys will have to play the Eagles twice, Giants twice, and Commanders twice. For the NFC West opponents on the road, Seattle and the Rams. And then they got to play Houston and Indianapolis and Green Bay. And then for the South, then for home, they got to play the 49ers, Cardinals, Titans, Jaguars. And they got to play the Baltimore Ravens, the AFC North opponent. The NFC South opponent is it Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those are the 2026 schedule. And how many teams they were in the playoffs on that schedule from last year? Philadelphia twice, San Francisco, Seattle, LA, Rams, Houston, and Green Bay. Those are the teams that were in the playoffs last season. So the strength of schedule is probably middle of the pack. Let's see. They only have the 20th hardest schedule in the NFL, which is 493 win percentage from 2025. It's not that bad. The strength of schedule is only the 20th hardest in the NFL. It's not bad. Only some teams have winning records from last year, and all have been reaching the playoffs. So it is a manageable schedule. This is a weak schedule. Actually, teams who were in the playoffs from last year: Philadelphia, Jacksonville, Houston, Green Bay, Rams, Seattle, and San Francisco. I believe there's like 6-7 teams that were in the playoffs from last year. So will the Cowboys actually make the playoffs next year, despite they have the 20th hardest schedule in the NFL? I'm confident they could get in, despite the fact that, like I said, even the fact they have 20th hardest schedule in the league, including teams who were in the playoffs from a year ago, from the previous seasons. So it wouldn't change anything like that. But the only thing I'm concerned about coming into this offseason is defensive productivity. It's been a problem the last couple of years. The defensive productivity has been a struggle. They struggle to get after the quarterback. They struggle to generate pass rush. They struggled to defend the pass. Cowboys were last in the NFL in pass yardage allowed. So that is a practical issue for the Cowboys. So they got to be better in that category if that's the case right now. I mean, it seems to me that Dallas would never think that it wouldn't be the case, that this team would not been good right now. So, what is your biggest opponent for the Cowboys for the entire 2026 and 27 season? It could be against the Los Angeles Rams. Might be the biggest opponent. The other bigger opponent is the Seattle Seahawks, defending Super Bowl champs. Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Those are two major opponents. And the Rams and Seahawks were in the championship game of the NFC last year. So the Cowboys will get more scheduling. Those are big games. It could be primetime games or other bigger games in each and every week. So if you want to compete against these teams, especially with good teams, you've got to finish it. You have to finish these games consistently. If you beat a couple of good teams at least, then you got yourself a chance to the playoffs. You want to see yourself out. So hopefully Dallas will try to figure things out this offseason. After suffered two difficult off seasons, including last year they lost Michael Parsons. To the Green Bay Packers. That's a win for Green Bay. That's a lose-lose for the Cowboys. Losing Michael Parsons is significantly. It's a win-win for Green Bay. One of these two teams, Michael Parsons will face his former team. I don't know if he's going to play or not. Actually, Michael Parsons have faced his former team before he returned to Dallas. And now the Packers will play the Cowboys in Green Bay next year. I'm not sure when Michael Parsons is going to play. Either he's going to be sit out through the first few months of the season, try to get him healthy late in the season, and try to get that playoff push and get their defense rejuvenated. I mean, that's for the Dallas Cowboys. They really miss Michael Parsons. They really do. It's too bad. It's too bad right now. So congratulations to JaVonte Williams re-signing a 3-year contract with this team. Hope he deserved that better than as it develops. But we do know this could be the competitive, not just the NFC East division, the entire NFC conference, like San Francisco, the Rams, Seattle, Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit. The NFC South, like Tampa Bay, Carolina, and other teams. There's Philadelphia in the mix. So Minnesota is still in the mix. So this is a competitive NFC conference. There's no getting around it. And you already find your own differences because of this. So you would have took that at any time. That's how you took it. All right, so coming up next, we will talk Joe Burrow, Thunder and the Cavs, and NFL offseason. It's all coming up next. All right, welcome back here as the Thunder squared off against the Cavs yesterday. Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Joe, and Casey Wallace have combined 42 points. And the Thunder end up winning over the Cavs 121-113. No SGA, no JDUB, no problem. End up winning by 8 points. Despite the Thunder had a 23-point lead in this game. But they ended winning 121-113 over the Cavs. So here's the question now. How the Thunder could survive without SGA or JDUB? Well, a couple of things. Number one, they need to put themselves in a pretty good position. Like when you're in the playoffs, SGA needs to come back before the season is over. That's the key. That's the first key you have to make. You got to make those decisions. So if that's going to be the case, then this is an issue right now. But the Thunder is still winning games. Even the injuries have been wilted from the Thunder. They started the season 24-1. Since then, they're only 20-13 since that time. So, like I said, the Thunder has to grind out the tough schedule down the stretch. But last night they had to grind themselves. After they had a 23-point lead squandered, they still grinded out. I mean, yes, Thunder is not the same team they were a year ago, but they're still the best team in the West, despite the injuries and all that kind of stuff. But the performance is going to be key by going forward. I'm just saying, when is SGA coming back? If he comes back before March, that's a good sign. They need Jaylen Williams to come back. They need SGA to come back. That's going to be the key for the Thunder by going forward. So they need guys they need to step up. Lou Dort stepped up really well as well. So Thunder made 21 threes. They shot 51% from downtown. That's how the Thunder beat the Cavaliers yesterday. They shot 49% from the field yesterday. So there were a lot of good things offensively yesterday. Hey, so we've seen some confidence from Oklahoma City, and the Thunder earned a sweep against Cleveland. Cleveland have been rolling. Cleveland have won 7 straight games before, including 5-0 when Harden was acquired to Cleveland. I mean, we'll get to that in one more minute. But look at Oklahoma City. Look at their schedule. They got Toronto today, and then Detroit, and then head back home against the Nuggets on Friday. So those are the big games. Toronto did beat the Thunder last month in OKC. So let's see how it pans out here tonight. So Thunder gets a key win at home. Now they're gonna go on the road to play the Toronto Raptors. Let's see how this plays out tonight. All right, how the Cleveland Cavaliers do. There were some decent efforts yesterday, despite the loss. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. They were in a hole early. The Cavaliers surrendered 17 turnovers in an 8-point loss to the Thunder. Understand, because last time they got blown out on Martin Luther King Day. Then yesterday, it was close. They came back from 23 down. They had chances to win. They just couldn't come through. They couldn't come through down the stretch. Mitchell and Harden have combined 40 overall points, 20 points each. But Donovan went 0 for 6 from downtown. And James Harden had 5 turnovers. Mitchell had 3 himself. But the only guy who had a pretty good game is Sam Merrill. He had 20 points and 6 3-pointers made. He's been a spark for them. Evan Mobley had a decent game, 15 points. But Keon Ellis made a huge impact as well. Dennis Schroeder. There's some contributions in an 8-point loss to the Thunder for the Cavs. They were on a 7-game winning streak. They had not lost. I don't think they have lost a February game until yesterday. So they got another tough test. They got to play the Knicks tomorrow. This time, Cleveland is home. Cleveland is a home team tomorrow. So that was their first Cavaliers loss since January 30th. They have won 7 straight prior to that. That's their first February loss for the Cavs. So for the Cavs in the month of February, they're 7-1 in the month of February, which is pretty good. Offensive rating during that stretch, number 2 in the NBA. Defensive rating, number 7 during this 8-game stretch in the month of February. So there's a lot of good things for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So look at their schedule. They got New York. They play Milwaukee. Then Detroit on Friday. That's a big game. Probably the biggest game of the year between these two teams. Could be a semifinals matchup between the Cavs and the Pistons. So that's what the difference is all about. The Cavs and the Pistons. And that's the difference right now between these teams. They can go at it. So now, if it's a changeable thing, I think Cleveland should be okay to be finishing top 6. The next month and a half, next couple of months is going to be critical for Cleveland by going forward. So we'll see how the Cavaliers team plays out for the rest of the year. So beyond that, they can finish. They gotta finish this deal from here on out. And that's gonna be the key for that 1 year. Um, yeah, I mean, so Cavs snapping a 7-game winning streak. That was their first loss, and not just their first loss since January 30th. First lost in the month of February. So Cavaliers going to have a winning month of February anyways, with 3 games left in the month of February. They got the Knicks at home tomorrow, then Milwaukee on the road, then Detroit. So they got Knicks at home, and then at Milwaukee is second night of the back-to-back, and then they're at Detroit on the 27th of February, which is the Friday. So I'll preview that game as well. All right, so coming up next, does Joe Burrow got some explaining to do after the Bengals suffered another disappointing season? This time they had a losing record. Even Joe Burrow did not play a lot of games. Also coming up, NFL offseason is heating up. And then we'll wrap things up. We'll step away in about 3 to 5 minutes. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. As the Cincinnati Bengals in 2025-26 season, the Cincinnati Bengals finishing the season with a 6-11 record in 2025. So they end up a disappointing 2025-26 regular season. They're trying to promise themselves because of that. Here's the question here. Does Joe Burrow got some explaining to do after a disappointing 2025 season? Well, there's some of it, but I would say this: they got some explaining to do. Yes, they got some explaining to do right now because the offensive line has been tested every year now, even since Joe Burrow was drafted. The offensive line continues to be problematic at best. Those are the generous issues over the years. Joe Burrow has more sacks than career interceptions. But is that statically surprise? I don't think, a little bit. Not surprised as far as sacks, but I'm surprised as career interceptions. But, I mean, Joe Burrow makes good decisions. Although they don't have a running game. The Bengals have no running game. After all these years, the Bengals have zero running game that who support it with. But I hate the fact that the Bengals, how this Bengals defense is bad. They're bad. They're last against the run. They're 26th against the pass. They're 31st in total defense. They're 30th in points allowed. They're 28th defending on third down. They're 24th defending in the touchdown red zone. Issues. The biggest issue right now for Joe Burrow's team is defense. It's not just Joe Burrow's got some explaining to do. The Bengals defense got a lot of explaining to do. I mean, Zach Taylor's got a lot of explaining to do. It's not Joe Burrow. It's Zach Taylor. That's on Zach Taylor. That's on the organization. Why they kept Zach Taylor his job? Why is Zach Taylor keeping his job? Because it feels like we're gonna give another chance to get back to the playoffs. If they don't do that, I believe he'll be fired. He could be fired during the 2026 season or after that. It's gonna make matters worse. This is a problem now because the only problem is your team doesn't have significant enough firepower to perform with. But the this Bengals team and Joe Burrow, I respect the hell out of him, man. I respect the hell out of him because there's no way that Joe Burrow is retiring despite he had a very good career. He came up short of the MVP voting uh, in 2024-25 season. He lost to Josh Allen despite he put up outstanding numbers. But damn, the defense was bad. The defense has gone from bad to worse, honestly. The defense has gone from bad to worse. And this is a really tough luck right now if you're Joe Burrow. He suffered 3 injuries. 2 have been out for the year. The other one, he could have been out for the year. He could have been out for the rest. He could have kept him out for the season. He came back. He came back in Thanksgiving Day. And he didn't put up decent numbers since he came back. He did not put up decent numbers since he came back from injury. It's complete shocking. I mean, the Bengals, the entire Bengals franchise got a lot of explaining to do. Seriously. This is a serious situation. And I'm sure that this team has to put them together and get them behind it. But you're going to suffer your own fate for 1 and 2 different reasons. Either it's gone from better to worse. It's a problem now. Something you don't want is to become the worst defense in the league. We looked at total defense since 2023. They were 31st in total defense in 2023. They were 25th in 24-25, 31st again. So, Bengals in total defense, they ranked 29th in total defense in each of their last 3 years. So the defense has been an issue over the last 3 years. So that, if that's the case, then that's a problem. And then Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow's relationship. But Jamar Chase, and Zach Taylor's relationship has not been easy because it feels like the happiness is going to be gone. The inside marriage is going to be gone. But even though I love Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow to death, I mean, it feels like most people don't trust Zach Taylor because the play calls have been pretty different, to say the least. I mean, you can't touch no one else. There's nothing else to figure it out. There's nothing to figure it out at all. You think things are gonna get better. What the Bengals have to do, they need to stop blowing fourth quarter leads. That's been an issue over the last couple of years. They're not closing out games. They're not closing out games. Because the Bengals defense has been 100% inconsistent. Just nothing has gone right for the Cincinnati Bengals. So that it is really hard to take a huge step forward. If that's the case, then you don't have any issues right now. But that's the giant difference. That is a huge giant difference right now. So let's say if if Cincinnati Bengals really want to make sure we keep him Burrow for a few more years and try to get back to the Super Bowl, that's what you're gonna do? Is that what you're gonna do? When he was looking for it, but numbers did look strong when he got hurt. Even when he got hurt early in the season, he finished 1,889. He finished 1,809 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, only 5 picks. He's still come up strong, but the injuries. If it wasn't for his week 2 injury, the Bengals would have been in the mix for the postseason. They would have been in the north of the AFC. The AFC North was wide open at the time. Despite the fact they're losing games, they should have won. They should have beat the Jets in week 8. That was a big missed opportunity. Losing to the Jets in week 8 and losing to the Bears in week 9. Both were at home, by the way. It was a big miss that haunt them for a postseason chance. If you scratch out these 2 losses that you could have won, they would have been in right now. And they also blew a lead against the Bills, so they could have been in right. They could have been in the playoffs. If it wasn't for these 3 heartbreaking losses that they suffered in, they would have been in right now. They could have been in right now if it wasn't for these 3 heartbreaking losses. They had a heartbreaking loss in week 8 against the Jets. They blew a lead. They had a heartbreaking loss against the Bears, despite you came back and got the lead and then ended up giving up a last seconds touchdown to Loveland from Caleb Williams to the Bears, for the Bears. And then Joe Burrow's pick 6 to Bedford changes things. End up losing a close one against the Bills. If you scratch out 3 losses, they would have been in. Like I said, they could have been in the playoffs. If you take out your 3 losses, you would have been in the playoffs right now. The defense was an issue throughout that season. There's nothing you can really take away from. So hopefully Joe Burrow has few explanation to do, and hopefully he'll get back on track in 2026 healthy. That's going to be the key by going forward in this one. So let's see. If I said Cincinnati. I'm not saying the Bengals. Hopefully, Bengals could get back to the playoffs. I hope so. Winning division is going to be key. Even they still have Lamar Jackson. The Steelers have their They still dealing with a quarterback situation. The Browns, they're probably going to start Shedeur Sanders in Week 1 in 2026 season. So the quarterbacks of the AFC North expect to be differentiated. All right, coming up next on JDB's Morning Cap, we'll talk NFL offseason heating up, and then we'll wrap things up. We're going to step away about 3 more minutes. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap. As the NFL offseason is just around the corner, so here we go. So what are the potential NFL rules in 2026? So here's how this is going to work. So there's not a lot of changes. But they could take a look at the tush push, new kickoff format, refining catch rule, the 2-point conversion rule, and they're also talking about the onside kick. So they're considering a 4th down and 13 play. They could consider a 4th down onside kick. Onside 4th down play instead of. So they're looking for a 4th down conversion after a touchdown. So it could be only the team is trailing. Let's say if the rule is passed, then they can do all this. And then we'll forget about the rule changes. But how about off-season free agent signings? So players who will be free agent: Trey Hendrickson, George Pickens already placed on the franchise tag, Daniel Jones, Jaylen Phillips are in free agency mode right now. So is Aaron Rodgers, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Alec Pierce, Khalil Mack. There's notable guys who are in free agent. Maxx Crosby. So let's talk Maxx Crosby right now. So for Maxx Crosby, he is expected to leave Las Vegas. So which team will likely designate? The Giants, the Ravens, the Colts, the Steelers, the Packers, the Patriots, the Cowboys, 49ers, the Bills, the Bengals. The list goes on and on. The Maxx Crosby effect would be different. We already know where he's gonna go outside of Las Vegas. We already know. So you always gonna prove it. You're always gonna prove these guys wrong. You always gonna prove him wrong. Because of that, if it wasn't for this is the only difference you can really make. Is the off Maxx Crosby will sign the Buffalo Bills to try to get this team to the Super Bowl and winning it. I think Maxx Crosby could go to Buffalo. It could make sense. They can try to get to the Super Bowl. They already hired Joe Brady as head coach. You had a reigning MVP, Josh Allen, on this team. But the only thing the Bills need, they need a wide receiver reduction. They need a pass rush. That's the two main. This is the two main reasons they need to get to the Super Bowl. That's going to be the key for the next year and a half or so. I mean, that's their goal. Their goal is to get to the Super Bowl and have their confidence. This is your golden opportunity to get to the Super Bowl and make sure he exists his own way. But if that's the case, then you put yourself in a better position to get to that. But you got to make crucial decisions. Something you have to make it all out. So I think Maxx Crosby could go to Buffalo, try to make a huge difference, and try to get this team to the Super Bowl and winning it. That's the key of the success, what they needed. All right, let's wrap things up. So what's coming up in JDB's morning cap? We'll recap Pistons and Spurs. That's tonight. The game is tonight in Detroit. Top 5 best teams in the NBA. So we are so looking forward to that. We'll also talk more NFL as the offseason is still approaching. We'll still talk more Maxx Crosby beginning the show tomorrow as well. Also, we'll update the men's bracket for college basketball. We'll talk about that throughout this week. And also coming up in upcoming episodes, there's a lot of stuff going on this week. And oh, by the way, congratulations to Team USA hockey team. They won yesterday. I didn't mind that, but congratulations on the Team USA hockey team. They beat Canada yesterday in a Winter Olympics finale. So really, really good day for this. So hopefully you're having a very good time in this one here. All right, we talked about the Celtics beat the Lakers yesterday. We talked about Thunder beat the Cavs. We talked about Joe Burrow, Sky explaining, doing all that stuff. All right, that's it, y'all. This is JDB's Morning Cap. Enjoy your day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. And take care of yourselves.